Eldest, that's what I am. Mark my words, my friends. Tom was here before the river and the trees. Tom remembers the first raindrop and the first acorn.
Welcome back to podcast.
I couldn't get his accent down.
I mean, right now or just
no, like last night as I was watching, I was like,
okay.
What's this guy's accent? And maybe that's the whole point of Tom Bombadil, is that like he's got this like amalgamous accent that you can't pin down where it's from.
So this was my experience with Deanna Troi from Star Trek.
Okay.
I was like, what accent is that? And then it turns out it's her accent of what she thinks her people sound like. And but it's just slightly English enough, and it's just slightly American enough that I couldn't tell if it was just someone who was like struggling to like Americanize or something. But then when I realized, oh, she's like inventing her own thing, I was so impressed by that. And I do think you're right. There's something Irish, there's something Scottish about Tom Bombadil.
Yeah.
But then there's something American about the guy, That's interesting. Yeah, I don't think we're meant to be able to immediately recognize it, though.
I like it. I thought he was real good in this episode. I wanted a little more whimsy from him, and I think that's probably going to be like the main criticism of Tom Bombadil. It felt like, for me, it felt very Empire Strikes Back, where you meet Yoda, like Luke is told to go find this great former Jedi master, this great warrior, and he stumbles upon this goofy little green guy that's like digging in his stuff and laughing and fighting R2-D2.
That's a perfect analogy, Ben.
And then as soon as, he hears Obi-Wan, like, as the kids say, Yoda locks in, and he's like, I'm not afraid. He's like, you will be. And it's like, just do that. Have Tom Bombadil, lie about his wife, who's definitely there, but we don't see Goldberry, which I love.
Which is so great. It's actually,
so great.
That is such an awesome take on that.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And then, he's singing, but, I just want him to be kind of, dancing around the fire and doing all these, magic things. And I don't know, I feel like he got a little too serious, a little too fast. But, when he says... at the very end, when the stranger says, am I supposed to fight Sauron? He's like, yes. And then, that's when you have him oh, this is, Tom Bombadil is that powerful. But I know you were really worried about it. I know a lot of people were, because it's just this character that has been, where's Tom Bombadil, hashtag,
right.
since 2001, before hashtags were invented. Back when it was the pound sign. But I thought they did
Gen
a good job.
Z and Alpha have no idea what that's for.
Well, I think, was it you that said it? The fact that we still say hang up the phone?
Yeah.
What does that,
yeah.
what does that even mean now? It means
what does that
nothing.
mean, Mom?
Yeah.
Really. Or that there was a video of a Gen Zer inventing a household line. We just need a phone that stays at the house.
So great.
It's come full circle, baby. I think obviously worried about it is a strong word because it's a TV show. But I know in that Discord,
it kept you up at nights. I know. You were texting me.
Ben, I'm not ready to be this vulnerable with our audience. I just wasn't ready to divulge that information. I'm going to turn into Drew Barrymore from her talk show. It's just, I was worried that it wasn't going to be everything we thought it would be. And it's really hard to, I keep on using this phrase, but put your flag in the ground and go, this is Tom Bombadil.
Yeah.
When you've already polarized an audience so much, now to bring this iconic character, you actually stand to lose a bunch of people like yourself wanting this whimsical character. I don't know how you represent this character, I guess. Even Beorn from The Hobbit, I was a little bit surprised about that. It was perfect, but at the same time, I was oh, that's not exactly how I perceived Beorn. But I digress. And what I will say is I genuinely, for the most part, enjoyed the representation here. And I can agree with you. Well, listen, I think if he was too whimsy, I would have wanted to unalive myself. And if he was too serious, that would have not worked. I think what's going on is he's seeing there's something wrong, and it's not he's like there to pass on the import of it to the stranger. And so he's like not thrilled about the state of things. So his light is dimmed. Although when you think about him in the books, his light is never dimmed, even though Sauron's coming back to power. You know what I mean?
And that's the funny thing is that everyone, people that are complaining about the lore and the books and everything, you'd hate a direct adaptation of the books. If they are,
sure,
what they're talking about is the Peter Jackson movies and like the stuff that's been changed from them, because Peter Jackson made this like material much more grown up, much more serious in a way where there's not a lot of singing, there's not a lot of dancing, there's not a lot of poem breaks. Like the original works of Tolkien are much more poetic, much more not Shakespearean, but more like Renaissance.
No, there is. And when you get like to the end of like Return of the King, so many these, thous, those, twas.
Yes.
It's like even Aragorn changes his speech. It's insane.
It's insane. So it's like, you're so right. It is such a tough line of like, yeah, this guy does just dance in the field and pick dandelions and like, puts the ring on and takes it off. And like, that's just who he is, because he's just that powerful. Right. Like he has nothing to worry about, but you still need to have him fit into this story and this world. And like, if you had,
is that an argument though? Go ahead. I'm so sorry.
I don't know any kind of Tom Bombadil that would have fit in the Peter Jackson movies. Like he would have stuck out so terribly bad.
Well, and so that's my argument is if he stands out here, or is that an argument to not put him in this? Like why shoehorn him here to a story that's basically, I could get with the trolls and say fan fiction to some extent. Do we need him here?
I think it's a good way, because who else is going to teach the stranger how to control his magic? Like, you need some kind of mentor for like this little man baby that literally cannot do anything. I love the story with him going around with Nori and Poppy, but like they've shown that he cannot control what he doesn't know. And so I don't need like this, anime training arc, or Rocky, where he's like, punching bags and jogging up hills and stuff. I mean, actually, I'd love that.
Like,
give me that. We used to be a country, Jessica.
Where he like spits at the tree that sucked him up while he walks by it.
Right.
Or like he's like building up to fight the tree.
I didn't hear no bell.
I'm going to take that branch.
Right? Like, what a crazy thing to do. Like, even if I didn't know that tree was alive, an Ent or a Fangorn S tree. But like, branch, tear. So what are you doing? Like, it's so strange.
He's such a baby. He's such a man-child. I also think, just to that point, it's weird to have two alive trees in one episode, but at the same time I think you need to establish, like, again, I'm just realizing, like, you've never read the Silmarillion, you don't care about the Lord of the Rings all that much. You need to see two trees come alive in the same episode on different sides of the world, but I thought it was like, oh, it's weird.
Like, I think, like, in our Discord, I can't remember who said it, but just like that, there's a lot of Peter Jackson-esque dialogue, or like referencing, or almost like word for word. A lot of this stuff is from the extended edition. And I know if there's any extended edition that anyone has ever seen in their life, 90% it's going to be Lord of the Rings. Like, if anyone's seen any director's cut, like, it's going to be those movies. But everything with the trees itself being alive is in the extended edition, outside of them groaning at Gimli for raising his axe. Anytime they move, they swallow Merry and Pippin up in Fangorn Forest, and that's when
Right.
Treebeard says, dig deep, eat earth, drink water. Same line that Tom Bombadil says in this. But anything else, and like then them literally like nightmare fuel eating all the orcs as they run away from Helm's Deep.
And those were like not even Ents. They're like something else. I can't
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
what they
yeah.
are
Those
exactly.
like the-
But it is nightmare fuel. You're
It is.
totally right about that.
But that's all extended edition that a majority of people just haven't seen. So it is a cool thing of like, yeah, back in the Second Age, every tree was like this, or a majority of them like were more alive, more sentient, and maybe angrier. And it's like, you're not taking my branch. Let me.
I love that. He's like, did you even think to ask? I also love that in the movie, not in the movie, in the books, when we meet Tom Bombadil, it's because he's saving them from the Bear Whites. I think the second time. The first time he's saving them from the trees, right? Is that correct?
Yes,
And
I
then
think, I
saving
can't
them-
remember if it's Sam or Frodo, that they get eaten by a tree. And then I think Tom Bombadil does the same thing he does with the stranger, where he's like, okay, lay off him. He's good.
But then they leave Tom Bombadil, and then they get attacked by the Bear Whites.
Yes.
And so I love that we have the Bear Whites in this same exact episode, but on opposite sides, and that they've got it. Like, it's just kind of cool. Yes, are they referencing the books and the movies heavily, but it is the same world. So like, I don't mind that they're like reeling us in with some similar things.
Yeah.
It could it be a little heavy handed, but anyway, I just really love that it was like Tom Bombadil's not there to help you.
I don't understand like the heavy-handed this is, but like this thing that this isn't Star Wars. There aren't a million systems in a galaxy far, far away. This is one Middle Earth that like we have only so much literature to go off of, and so we didn't get the Bear Whites in the Fellowship.
It's the direct quoting, I think, and I can understand that too. It's like, why would different characters say the same exact thing that's been said in the book by somebody else? I can understand.
Tom
fatigue over
Bombadil
something
probably
like that.
watched Treebeard grow up from an acorn.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. He probably did.
Okay, we're going to get in. I took copious notes, guys, so let's get fully into the episode. I just wanted to start that off with some, because that was like the big thing. He was like the main focus of the Comic-Con trailer, and we talked at length about Tom Bombadil finally being in these things because, he's been rumored for so long. People wanted Stephen Colbert to be Tom Bombadil, but I liked him in this episode, and we'll get back to him as we circle back to the Stranger storyline.
Yeah, I got a little bit more to share about that. But that's why I thought it was like, oh, he's starting us off with a quote from Tom Bombadil. That you can't not talk about that, man.
Oh, for sure.
All right, let's get into Season 2, Episode 4 of Rings of Power.
Eldest is what it's called. We start with Galadriel and Elrond going to Eregion, and I think, I don't want to, maybe I saw this, but I saw someone say that the Elvengers. I'm just like, I like that. I like that a lot. I don't want to take credit for it because I feel like I saw it somewhere, but I can't remember.
You can't.
Yeah.
Elvenger, but now it's just in the zeitgeist, though. So
Yeah.
Elvenger, just like we know, Nerd of the Rings said Nazgirls or Nazgals. I think it should be Nazgirls though. Gals lets them be adults, but that's just what they are now. Though.
They are
like
they are the Nazgals. Like, absolutely.
It's a Nazgal autumn, guys. As far as I'm concerned. Brat summer's over. It's time for Nazgal autumn. Let's go.
So they assemble the Elvengers, and they're really arguing about this, where they're just like catty. Like, I don't know if I like this Elrond. Like, I understand that he's hesitant about the ring, but that doesn't mean he needs to just be like a constant a-hole. Am I wrong about this?
In a TV show, when it's about rings and he's hurt by his friend and he has a perspective where he believes she shouldn't be using the ring and that she's lured by the power of, he can't not talk about it until he has a resolution about it. So, because if he were to not, and he would just like to be like, well, yeah, Gladriel, whatever you say, then we would question where his motivation went. So is it amazing that Elrond's, you know what it is? we're seeing the precursor to steely Elrond. We're seeing pissy Elrond right now, who's learning how to be a leader under duress and under emotional trials and tribulations. And maybe it's not your favorite representation of that, but I get, like, so, like, my answer is twofold. If you were to also let go of the fact that she's wearing this ring and it bothers him, we'd question his motivations. And he does need to have something that like, he has to realize he's wrong about.
Yeah.
And make a mistake over. Like, jumping towards the end of the episode, like, where he's like, about what her choice was.
Dude,
that's so pissy.
That's the thing, is that I understand his, like, his, you know, hesitance about the ring, his, you know, being against it, all that. But just, like, every single thing Galadriel says, he's, like, undercutting. It's just like he's like the little weasel at the work meeting. It's like, well, I thought of that too. Yeah, okay. I guess it's not that good of a job, Galadriel. Like, I mean, congrats. You secured the big account, but we're gonna need another one. Like, what are you doing? Can we get back to work?
He's the Mean Girls in 10 Days to Lose a Guy or whatever. They're like, he can't get it. I just watched it recently.
I was going to say, like, you're coming at me for, what was it, last week? I was like, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? Like, I don't remember anything about that movie, except that it ruined my life.
Why?
Because the guy's name is Ben, and Benny Boo Bear, but, like, oh my God, that was high school for me. Like, yeah. No,
I understand.
The worst.
Oh my God. There are definitely worse things to be get attention for, but I didn't remember. I thought it was weird that his name was Ben. Anyway.
It is weird when, like, movie characters are named Ben, because, like, it's a common name, but it's still, I guess it's just me that it sounds weird, but it's just like.
No, it's weird.
Yeah.
Ben evokes a certain type of person, and I don't. You're going to take this all kinds of wrong. I don't associate that with lead romantic dude.
Okay. When I think of Ben, I think of this lonely dipshit loser. I don't know where this comes from. It's just, like, in my head, like this mental image of this single guy that couldn't get
Ben
laid if he was the last man on Earth.
That's not what I meant at all. No, you're the guy she dates before she finds Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, great. Even better.
I'm just kidding.
I'm starting to agree with that guy. I was like, what's all this yapping? So they come to a bridge. It's been demolitioned. I don't know.
Ben?
Can I do the? I'm just gonna assume Jessica's not talking. I don't know. My headphones.
For our listeners, he pulled the earphones out of his ears.
They come to a bridge. It's been blown out. And Galadriel's ring, basically. How do you feel about this? Where the ring is literally like, ping, 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 like giving her like, oh, if we go south, there's gonna be Barrow Whites. Like, how do you feel about that?
Do you mean the actual sound effect itself, or?
Yeah, like we've been told the rings give you foresight. We've never seen the visual representation of that. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, we kind of do with the mirror pool, right? Like, I think the mirror pool gives, like, her visuals, like, a physical manifestation. I think they need to have found some way to represent how she's having these visions. And because she's one of our main protagonists, they're giving it to us that way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure she's getting much more than what we're seeing. I think just in this moment, as she's getting information, she's like sorting through her brain and going, no. She's like a mentat from Dune or something. And she's going, no, that's wrong or whatever. So
it's like a Minority Report. She's like,
right, totally. and we're just seeing like hits of it. And again, we're supposed to believe too that she can't quite control it, or it's still latent power, you know. But yeah, is it when she exactly touches the bridge?
It feels like she's like feeling like the rock, or like, you know, maybe like a scorch mark or something like that. So I'd be okay with that. I
so
think
it doesn't bother you? Like, what are you thinking?
It doesn't bother me. Maybe it's more like of the sound effects than anything. But did they double the ring size, by the way? It feels like
it's just a fucking like iceberg on her hand.
It really is. Like the Titanic would sink because of this ring. Yeah, that ring is absolutely diabolical on her hand. I don't know if they switched it or like they made the, you know, it's like for the Peter Jackson movies, there's like a giant big old donut ring that they did for like forced perspective.
Yes, totally.
And I don't know if they made the ring bigger just so we don't have to do a zoom in on her hand every single time. But that thing is just insane. And another just little like catty little thing from Elrond, where he's like, I will not let that thing dictate where we go. I was like, oh my God, dude, like chill out.
Like she doesn't know. Also, first of all, she's being disrespectful to his role of leadership. He's made a choice and she's undermining him. So I can see him being a little like short with her. You know what I mean?
Has Elrond ever commanded like soldiers before? Because Galadriel has.
No, but that's not her role here. She's her role is to not listen. I'm with you. Like,
yeah.
First of all, they're friends. Second of all, they shouldn't be traveling together because they're not getting along. So Gil-galad, you fucked up. They shouldn't be working together right now. Like, or he's hoping they'll figure it out on the road.
Yeah,
which is also how elves die, bro. Like,
why are they walking? How like
they certainly could be on horses for sure.
I understand budget constraints and everything like that. How far is 150 leagues in miles? Like, it is 517.851 miles. So they're just jogging. And like, you want to get to Eregion a little faster. I know some animals that you can ride that'll get you there. Why wouldn't
they be on fucking horses?
Like, I don't think they said they needed to do this like in stealth or anything like that. I know they're taking like a small company to Eregion. You know, it's not like they're leading an army or anything, but like it seems. I love the overhead shot, the drone shot or the helicopter shot of them like running. I'm like, oh, they're moving. But then the rest of the time, they're just kind of walking. So, I don't know. It just felt like, I don't know why. Either don't say how far Eregion is, or get on a horse.
This has been our complaint, where we're not getting, like, any sense of time, how long things are taking. So, like, it's kind of good to get some awareness over how long things actually take in this world. But yeah, why they're not on a fucking horse makes no sense.
Well, especially because like they come to this bridge and they're like, well, if we go north, it's going to add 2 weeks to our journey. I'm like, well, how long have you been traveling already? Like, is that a long time? Like more than a month now? Or is it like, this is a 3-day journey and this one bridge saved us 2 weeks or something like that? So I don't know.
I mean, we don't know how long it took them to travel those sweeping shots that we saw, which, by the way, thank you. We need those, even though like I could totally tell they were CGI characters like bopping along the ridge, like and like even when they like were going down the river in the third shot. Whoa. It's just so much nicer to have real beautiful scenery.
There's a lot, like, you know, we're gonna move over to The Stranger now, meeting Tom Bombadil, and it feels like this is all shot on location. Obviously, you know, like Tom's home and, you know, the stores, not hobbit holes, are definitely a set, but this whole desert like felt like they went out to the desert and filmed it out there. It looks good. I'm
really curious what desert they're in, because I know for the most part they were in London this season, so I'm curious where they are and what they're doing. But yeah, I think they definitely should be on horses. I think Elrond's being a little pissy.
A little
but
pissy.
I think Galadriel's undermining him also. Just because she's righteous doesn't mean she's right.
Whoa, man.
But unfortunately, she is right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's both.
Yeah.
So we go over to the stranger, and this is where he gets grabbed. Like, he's looking for Nori and Poppy because he blew them away with his tornado of rage, and he runs into Tom Bombadil, and he gets swallowed up by the tree, and Tom saves him from the tree. Also, the sound design of this, are there rattlesnakes in Middle-earth?
Ooh, I didn't hear that. Maybe my ears just aren't working.
I think
The pings and the rattlesnakes aren't really... I mean, I think maybe just desert. It could also be cicadas.
It felt,
could be cicadas.
It was definitely a rattler.
Was it?
Yeah, it felt like very like, oh, we have this stock desert sound like in the WB archives. Let's use that. And
Yikes.
honestly, if there's rattlesnakes in Middle Earth, I'm okay with it. But I was just like, I've never seen a rattlesnake in Middle Earth.
Yeah, they're making choices.
Yeah.
So.
Also, okay, so Nori and Poppy wake up, and they are miles away from the stranger, very far away from the stranger. How are they alive?
Ben, they should be dead.
And like
They should be dead.
And then right after this, they jump off another cliff and go roll. Like, they at the very least, have CTE. Like, they are so brain damaged after this moment. It's crazy.
Okay, so like, there's one thing I can forgive where like they're just small beings. So, and they probably passed out in the tornado, and they're when you're
your body goes limp.
Your body is. Yeah, they're probably okay that way. That's the only thing I could be like, no, but okay, maybe that. They would not have landed right next to each other. Just would not have. And, and just like Poppy wakes up like nothing happened.
Yeah, give me like the Hollywood, like, blood trickle down the side of the head, or, a little nosebleed or something like that. Like, they don't have a single scratch on them. Like,
because there would be debris in that tornado, by the way, like nobody's business.
Because the guy, the Jawa later, the masked sand people says like the tornado killed 2 of his men, and it's just like,
and the fact that he thinks they're alive is also ridiculous. When he talks to the Dark Wizard, he was like, "I'll make it my every effort to get the half-foots or whatever." Why? This is the one situation in a TV show or movie where I would buy a character believing that they were dead.
Right? Like, 2 of my trained, armored, 6'6" soldiers died from this tornado, but I think these little 3-foot-tall teenagers survived.
They are. I have every faith that they are still in existence. Because I usually have a hard time when movies are like, nope, they're dead. Yep, he's totally gone. We didn't see the body, but they're dead. Like, this moment, they would stop. I would stop looking.
Yeah, I would too. They run into this Harfoot-looking character. His name is Merrimack, and he's okay. So they say he's stealing water. Is the well like from the Bigfoot? Like I thought it was like a public
only
well.
Source of water. Oh.
I like it. I don't know.
Not necessarily.
I guess because we said it was a trap last week, but I guess like it's just a trap for anybody that like anytime they use the well, the bell goes off, and if you're not supposed to be there, you're not supposed to be there.
Cut the piece of metal that hits the bell.
It's really easy. It's really easy, guys.
Like, do that.
Yeah.
I could. Yeah, they didn't understand that. Like, Poppy and Nori didn't know that. But, like, this guy knows that.
I mean, apparently he's better at it because, we don't hear the bell of him stealing the water. So he's got his thing down. So he's fair. You can't, you got to come with me. But I'm going to lead you to, okay, is it the Goond or the Goont is the leader of the stores is what they're called. Because
Goond?
if it's the Goond, that's just amazing.
I'm trying to think now because we have subtitles on. I think it was the Goont.
The Goont? I feel like it would be the Goont. I didn't have subtitles on, so.
Yeah, no, I typically do. I think it was the Goont.
But are all small folk halflings just a-holes in this age? Are they just all the worst? Where, like, is it because we've lived in the Shire for so long that hobbits become nice and, you know, jovial and happy-go-lucky? Is this like during their hard times where they don't really have a home, and, you know, this home that they have to like steal any water that they get? Like, they're living on Arrakis basically over here. Like,
sure, we're definitely dealing with Javier Bardem right now.
Yes.
But Javier, did I just say Javier Bardem?
Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem. It was the most white I've ever sounded in my life. I definitely think I can understand them being untrusting of new people because of the Jawas, because of the Dark Wizard, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I think let's not forget, we just happen to know the nice hobbits. Like, Bilbo's annoyed with the majority of the hobbits in the Shire. And they're also kind of catty, and you got like the stink face guy that you do perfectly. Like, they just are bothered easily, you know? Like, so I think let's not forget they can definitely be a little like gossipy and like, I don't know.
Yeah, gossipy is one thing, but like, if I don't know, like the Saxville Bagginses, yeah, they're legitimate problems. They like help Saruman in the book come to power. Those are bad people. Right. But like,
to call nobody and like call him so dumb, it's so not nice.
They have him tied up with Nori and Poppy. Like,
totally.
Poor guy. And by the way, Nobody and Poppy, they're about to get it popping.
Nobody come knocking when Poppy's
right, exactly.
I actually saw, spoilers, if you saw some of the production photos that came out, they kiss later on, and
why would you spoil that for me? Why?
I thought you saw the picture.
Why would I see the pic?
I thought it was a woman, was my point. I'm sorry. Is this a bad episode for us? Okay.
No, it's not a bad episode. It's just like,
are we just like upset at me, and like I told you you're not a leading man, and now
is that, are you just like, Jess is just attacking me today because I don't have like the best mic quality right now?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. She made me wake up early. No, I like the chemistry they have, because, again, I feel like the show knows we're missing Arondir and Bronwyn now. We need to fill the space with some love, because like there's not a lot of like friendship even going on right now. We're just like, no one's friendly. No one's like, oh, come on in. Like, they're just like, no, who the fuck is this guy?
Like this show, that's exactly, we're role playing this show right now.
But we can, let me skip on ahead to the episode, because they kind of like cut back and forth. But basically,
sure.
the Jawas go back to the Dark Wizard and say, like, he basically tells them, you handle the Harfoots, I'll handle the stranger, because they know that he's like found Tom Bombadil now. And so he's like, I'll handle him before like he's able to use his power, me and my harem of Nazgals. And then the Jawas go back. What do you think of like their hobbit holes? I think this is going to be the new rings where they can't say the Shire. What do they call it? The Stot?
Yes, the Sturzat? Oh, God, I don't even want to know.
The Suzat.
Suzat.
Yes.
Suzerain was what I kept on thinking. For those of you that play Civilization, I kept on thinking about Suzerain. But the Suzat. Yeah. It sounds like a style of music.
Sounds like an instrument.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know. I like this. I do like a little bit of quote unquote Hobbit lore of like this guy, Shattuck, is like the great descendant of one of the first stores that left this place and like went looking for the Shire and never found it, so they became nomads because they never found a place that was truly safe for them. So I thought that was a good little backstory of like, oh, why are these hobbits like always moving and not, living underground in a hill? And, the fact that they say like, oh, the hills are so soft you can build a home within a day or two, and I was waiting,
but it was so sweet.
I was waiting for the Shire, but they said the Suzat, so I was like, okay, so they're gonna find. I think we called this like when we were doing our review for season 1 is that their story is gonna end with them finding the Shire and then them setting up camp.
You called that. I think what I was waiting for was them saying the Suzat translates to Shire. We just haven't got that yet.
I'm sure we will. But the Gunt stands up to the Jawas after they just like...
I'm sorry. Gets fucking slapped.
There are two hits in this show that the person should not have gotten up. And one is that smack. Like, if I go up and backhand a 10-year-old, they're not going to get up. Like, they're just not.
Right. She's pretty hardy, though.
There is a difference because they are, like, hardy folk that, are life-worn, and I'm sure she's very tough. Yeah. But
her brain is not, like, going like this.
Yeah,
as, like,
her brain's still developing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a hard hit. And then he's like, oh, no, I'm going to pick, come on. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what?
That means that this is like to me, what that meant was that this is a ritual. Like, this is how they arrive. Like we're not allowed to talk to the Gunt like that. And the Gunt's not allowed to talk to them like that. That was like kind of what I was getting was the hierarchy of things here. Like, this is sort of commonplace. Yeah. She's not supposed to be talking back, but she's kind of doing it. She made a mistake here where he said, where are the Harfoots? And she should have said, what's a Harfoot?
Yeah, that's how they knew.
That's what she should have said. That's what she should have said. Listen, it's very cool that she was like, the only halflings here are us. Like, cool, good for you. You're choosing the side of good, lady, I think. But she should have said, I don't know, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Yeah. Like, that's the way you that's the... And also, this guy shouldn't have left. He should have just burned out, smoked out the holes.
He gave up very easily. Like, he's like, you know why we wear these masks? We're going to come back and show you. I don't know. You're here now. Like,
yeah, do it. Do it now.
Do you have, like, an appointment at 2 o'clock that you can't miss or something? Like, yeah, you got theater tickets? Where are you going? You just swore to a dark wizard that you're going to kill the Harfoots, but...
That was my issue. It was like it was too easily resolved, and they just like So that I'm on the same page. It's whatever. Forget it.
Yeah, there's still like some pacing issues I feel about this season, and it feels like COVID and or maybe not COVID, but the strike, lack of showrunner. It's starting to kind of like you can start to see the seams a little bit. Like I still am very much enjoying this, but like a lot of this is just like, oh, why did they cut there? Okay, that was a strange edit. And then why are we? Because that would have been a thrilling storyline for this. Like I guess they're just like, oh, we're maybe because I don't think we're gonna get any stranger Anori stuff, and maybe no even Galadriel stuff next episode. I saw the next episode seems to be. I saw the because I was watching the credits because I was listening to the song and I don't know what that song was. No offense to the artist, but when you have and we'll get to the cliffhanger that they have. When you have that cliffhanger, I don't want to hear discount Ed Sheeran singing that. Like, you're talking to the guy that gets chills, Desolation of Smaug. Oh, Miss B.I. Oh, my God, it works every time. Argue with a wall. It's a lovely song. But when you have, like, I don't want to, like, jump ahead, but when you have Adar grab a flaming arrow and say, hello, Lady Galadriel, like literally a badass ending, and then you have, like, a semi-pop song playing, I was so confused. And so I was just like laying there on my couch and I was like, what is happening?
Alex
and then the next
grabbed me. Alex grabbed me.
I don't like.
I know a little bit more about it because I follow Bear McCreary, who is the
Bear's killing it. I have no problem with the composer.
Bear wrote this song too.
Okay.
But I'll explain more when we get to that, so that we're not jumping ahead too much. But yes, all I can say now is that Alex grabbed me and started breathing and stopped breathing because he was so jarred by it.
But that's the thing, like you have like 10 seconds of silence, like the first 3 credits, directed by, produced by, composed by, and then start the song, or start the song after the coming up next or something like that. Immediately, like cut to black, immediate. It was too much. It
totally didn't work. I couldn't agree with you more. And I'm sad because, but we'll get to it. I'll explain a little bit more.
And I think that's the end of the Stranger storyline. Like all the Stranger, like let's talk about the Stranger and Tom Bombadil, because that is a full-on conversation that I want to have, where you have the Stranger, like it really shows that the Stranger really is still just wearing like the tarp of the Harfoots as a robe and doesn't have any underwear. That's true. Does he have shoes? Yeah,
I don't think the Stranger has shoes. I don't know that I've seen him wear shoes.
Yeah, that'd be a big thing, but it is funny where you just
get calluses if you get calluses.
I'm sure he's doing I'm sure he's taking after the Harfoots and stuff like that. But
how disgusting was the color of Puppy's underside of the foot? Just like black.
Pretty bad. We rarely see like a close-up of a Hobbit foot. We're just like, oh yeah, that, they just don't wear shoes. And then when you think about it, like, oh my God, they don't wear shoes.
Yeah, nope, they don't wear shoes. They really don't. They're definitely die-harding it over here. But you get calluses at a certain point. You really do.
Yeah, but I feel like it takes a while. Like, I mean, I think it's different than you're genetically gifted not wearing shoes rather than you get calluses. Like, that's a painful experience.
It's a little column A, column B. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
They meet. He takes a bath. He definitely hears Goldberry singing, and he's like, oh, is there...
Oh, 100%.
Is there a woman here? Do you have a guest? He's like, yes, you're here. It's like, whoa. A1 gaslighting. Just absolutely your finest work, sir.
Yeah, and I thought I liked it. I thought it was really, what a silly homage to Goldberry to acknowledge that she exists. I thought was good, and I just thought it was kind of silly and funny. And like maybe she's there in like a different kind of form because there are no water lilies and not enough water like flowing, because she's like basically her feet are always in water, that woman. So
yeah.
But I loved it. I wonder if we'll actually see her, but I thought it was delightful.
I don't want to. I'm not going to get mad or anything if we see Goldberry, but I like.
Then what's the explanation, or do you just not need the explanation?
I don't need it. Not everything needs like an explanation. I'm okay with whatever
Totally.
Headcanon you come up with. I'm honestly okay with it. I just
totally.
We don't need to see her. I'm good with just like a little joke of like, no, we're by yourself. You're the crazy one. You're definitely hearing voices.
He doesn't say no, which I love that, because you're here. It's very, very well written. It's very fun. It's definitely Tom Bombadil. That whole thing that worked for me. So I enjoyed that.
I did too. What did you think about their conversation? Moving away from the laundry of it all, of just like even Tom was just like, "Here's your clothes, I guess." I don't know. Here.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good question. I actually really love that he wasn't supposed to find this. That he was supposed to find Tom Bombadil. I actually really love that. And if anyone can help him, it's Tom Bombadil. I'm question marking how much Tom Bombadil helped the Dark Wizard.
I think
you know what I mean?
I think he helped him quite a bit, honestly. Like, we haven't seen much of his powers. Like, it seems like his powers comes from his blood. That's how he created the Nazgals. But if he did that, he's got to be pretty powerful to create, at least 5 or 6 beings from his own blood. So.
Yeah. See, I don't think I got that he created those beings so much as turned them to him and then like gave them like eternal life, let's say, or something like that. But that they are also moths. And that's why they need to bleed. I don't know. It's possible. And that's one of those things that I don't need a fucking breakdown of how they work too, you know, but it's cool that we both have like different takes on how they exist. So the Tom Bombadil I know helps in acute situations, doesn't help in a grander sense, right? Like he didn't take the ring. That's not his purpose.
Yeah.
So why would he help the stranger? Why would he help the dark wizard? He's not there to train Rocky, you know? Like that's not his purpose. And at least as far as I understand him. So maybe there's like a tinge of there's a tinge of like regret maybe having helped the dark wizard, but how is he so certain that this stranger wizard is also not going to turn evil? Like, did he not sense the dark wizard was going to turn evil and now he regrets it and stuff like that? It just was it was helpful to kind of go like, no, here's what's happening. This world was not barren. This guy made it barren. Here's what the dark wizard wants. And we needed to know that. We need to know why the dark wizard was looking for the Istar. So it's good that we got that information. And overall, I do like Tom Bombadil. I was really ready not to like it. It's like, if he even sang one more verse of his fucking song, I would have thrown the remote. I didn't. It's so awkward. It's so cringe.
I like him, but I swear to God, if he utters one more fucking lyric.
It's just awkward. Like, here's the thing. You need to have him humming it like he's not even aware he's singing it. Like, he just gets into his busy work so quickly and starts singing it so immediately that the only circumstance I could understand someone actually like singing is like if they've been fucking whittling a stick for hours and going, I'm just singing, da, 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 da. You know, like you make songs up to Penguin.
And this is,
don't you?
Of course. But this is the thing of where it's just like the two tones, like just not mixing of like the book tone and the on-screen tone. And so I understand what they're trying to do, but it's even like when, you know, Bilbo starts walking off in Fellowship of the Ring and the road goes ever, like it even in that moment, I'm like, oh, Bilbo's singing, like it, cause he hadn't sang anything before. And, you know, it's not like, you know, Merry and Pippin, you know, dancing on the top of the table in Rohan of like, oh, they're celebrating, they're drinking. That makes sense for a song. Right. But in Middle-earth, everybody sings all the time. And even, you know, I'm reading Dune, and Gurney Halleck sings a lot. Yeah, and if they would have tried to make Gurney Halleck sing in either of the Dune movies, besides the one time where he's like, oh, my still suit's full of piss and whatever he says, like in the Sandcrawler with the pirates, it would have made no sense if Josh Brolin would have like suddenly broke out into song like while he's charging into battle or during a meeting with like Duncan Idaho and Oscar Isaac. You would have been like, what the fuck is going on? And that's the same thing. And so it's just the two tones just kind of clashing where I think they did their best to do it. But I totally get what you're saying. It feels like forced merrymaking. It feels like...
I think that's it. You can tell the difference when someone is breathing the character to life. Yeah. And you can tell when someone's like, ooh, I'm so embarrassed that I'm doing this. Like on stage, as an example, right?
It felt like he was so ready to become serious Tom Bombadil, game mode Tom Bombadil, and not... like, oh, I don't have a care in the world. I'm the eldest. Before there was the first acorn, there was Tom. Like, it felt like he was ready to be, you know, Jedi Yoda and not goofy Dagobah Yoda.
So I'm glad you brought up the Yoda thing again, because you're totally right that goofy, I'm going to wear you like a backpack seagulls Yoda is so much fun and out of left field from what Luke is expecting to find, and then he locks in. The problem with Tom Bombadil, though, in doing that is we already have information about this guy. We have no fucking clue who Yoda is. So you really can't perform that way. that's why I think it's a really a bold choice to actually include Tom Bombadil.
It's a tough
and I kind of love that.
Sure.
But I like that. I like that the showrunners know that like 15% of the internet hates them. And they went, you want to hate us more? Well, let's put Tom Bombadil in there. Like, I kind of love that brazen opinion, like a choice. Oh. And I don't think they failed at it. I just think we'll see if... I really do think that overall they succeeded with Tom Bombadil on screen. I'm interested to see more. I find anytime there's some singing, it's just a little cringy. That's all.
Yeah.
And you just got to find a way to really justify that why the character's singing.
Like when Gil-galad was singing, 2 episodes ago, beautiful. It went viral. It was lovely. Like, that's the singing that we're here for. So you can make it fit into this world like that we see on screen. Obviously, singing fits in Middle-earth, like as Tolkien wrote it. But like the on-screen Middle-earth, like it seems a little more jarring sometimes. Like when Aragorn's singing the Baron Luthien song, when Frodo wakes up, it's like, oh yeah,
right,
he would be.
Yeah, he might be if he's especially watching over. You're humming, you're whistling, you're doing that. Like I've had the Sabrina Carpenter "Please, Please, Please" song stuck in my head for weeks, and that's all I sing.
Better.
No, it's not.
It is.
But also,
we can stop the episode now. Espresso is so much better.
It's just not. It's actually grating. It's the same. It's one note. And Please, Please, Please is a fucking story. Don't get me wrong. It's all Madonna and Mariah Carey. It's all rips from that, but it's a better song. So anyway.
Nope. You're wrong. Espresso's a bop. It does a public service by everyone stopping saying fucking espresso, because that was a thing that was going on.
You can understand words she's saying in that. You can understand that?
She's not Ariana Grande. I can actually hear what she's saying.
Was she saying me espresso? What is she saying?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. We live in a world where pop songs need to make grammatical sense, because that's what we judge them for.
I'm asking because I don't know, and if
I don't know the lyrics, but when I listen to the song, I'm not confused of what she's saying. I haven't memorized Espresso.
Please, Please, Please is a better, more interesting, intricate, and clever song.
Please, Please, Please is like, don't embarrass me, motherfucker. Like, it sounds like that was like her first time cussing, like while she was recording the song. Me, motherfucker. Like I've never, I've also said the F word the first time when I was in 6th grade. Congrats, Sabrina Carpenter.
If you were also in Girl Meets World where everything you did was calculated, you would be like, can I say
Oh my God. I watched the pilot episode of that because, Boy Meets World is our stuff.
You have to watch it.
It was rough.
I know. And then they didn't have Ryder Strong stay with the love of his life. I'm rewatching all of Saved by the Bell because that's where my heart song is. Mm-hmm. And I may do Boy Meets World next. And I will watch the new Saved by the Bell because I know that they integrate all the beloved characters in there. But it's going to be rough. I know it's going to be rough. Anyway.
I didn't realize
Please,
that
better.
There's something, my friend Dan does a show. And they had starred in something recently. I can't remember. But originally, the teacher was in a show with all the kids from Saved by the Bell. And all the kids tested well. And the teacher didn't. So they moved the show and renamed it Saved by the Bell that way. And also for residuals and stuff like that. So they didn't have to pay her for it. Was I can't think of what the show was called.
So that one was called Miss Bliss.
That's right, yes.
It was the woman who was the original Parent Trap actress.
That's what it was, because she was in Trap.
Was she in Trap?
What's her name? Oh my God, it's gonna bug me.
Is she in Trap? The M. Night Shyamalan movie you can't stop talking about?
Yeah,
Is she still alive? She was super old now, huh?
Yeah.
So actually, Zach Morris and Screech are the only two characters. Haley Mills.
Yeah.
Wild. Okay, now I even really got to see it.
Which is hilarious because, she's in the Parent Trap, and that's what Trap is. It's a parent trap.
Oh, God, M. Night. Oh, God. Screech and Zach carry over, and Mr. Belding carry over. And they get rid of Miss Bliss. And then they cast, like, Kelly and Lisa. Oh, maybe Lisa might have been in it. But, like, they add Jesse and Slater, and then you get, like, the real cast.
Gotcha.
It's a rough watch. Because it was, like, basically about Miss Bliss. And her dating life and all that. And it just was so much better as Saved by the Bell. Anyway, it's also weird when they sing in that, too. But I love it.
They sing in Saved by the Bell? I've never seen it.
They have a band called Zack Attack.
Wow. Okay.
And they dance a lot.
Saved by the podcast coming soon.
Oh, I am so down. I'm so down. It's so good. No, here's the thing. You can't be a 15-year-old today and watch that and think it's good at all. I know that for a fact. You had to have watched it in real time. But it's so enjoyable. I love it. So the thing I will say, too, about the song that ends the episode, it's sung by Rufus Wainwright, who I love, who does, he does I Heard There Was a Secret Chord in the Shrek movie.
Yes.
He does a
Best
song
rendition, by the way. Either him Either him.
No, my father was a musician, and his mother was a Motown writer. Puts his flag in the ground and says that Rufus Wainwright does it best because he doesn't add any frills to it. He just sings the fucking song. Rufus's dad and mother were both folk song singers. Like, Rufus's dad did like this really fun song about like swimming, and I swam this summer, and it's like really great folk music. And then Rufus turns out to be this flamboyant artist who has the song like Cigarettes and Chocolate Milk, and he's just great. I love him. Some of his movie songs are the best songs that I love. He does one for Moulin Rouge that I love. And so Bear approached him and asked him to sing this song about Tom. It's like the Tom Bombadil song. And I listened to it and I was like, ooh, I can't really hear a hook yet or something. And the fact that they fucking played it at the end of this episode is all kinds of wrong. It's all kinds of wrong.
It's all kinds of wrong. And also, like, Into the West by Annie Lennox doesn't have, like, a hook to it. It just, I don't know. It just didn't fit. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Overall, I like the Tom Bombadil stuff. I totally understand, like, anything that, like, grates with people about it, because after exactly what you said, we didn't know who Yoda was. We've had almost a century to find out, like, in our headcanon of who Tom Bombadil is, what he looks like, what he sounds like, what his mannerisms are.
Who we think would play him, Kurt Russell.
Oh my God. He would have killed it. Like,
he would have fucking killed it.
The more I think, like, because Kurt Russell can break out in a song 10 times a day and you'll never question why. If Kurt Russell came into my restaurant and started breaking out in a song, I'd join him. Like, let's just be real here.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, okay, Daddy, sure, whatever you want.
But okay, so let's finish out this episode with everything with the elves. They discover the Barrow Wights, and this to me was the most disappointing thing of the episode.
We actually haven't even talked about the Ents and Arondir.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Whew. Okay, yeah.
I don't know that there's that much to talk about, except for...
That was the best part of the episode for me, was all the Arondir stuff.
It was gorgeous. I guess what I'm saying is that, like, no notes, right? Like, it's just... We learned that, like, Adar was just crushing fucking trees on their way to go to Eregion. Mm-hmm. And I'm surprised that we found out that Estrid was a wild person right away. Like, we just found out she was bad
not
right
playing
away.
games this season. The man is in
Arondir
pain.
Is here, man. Oh,
the man is in pain. He is in mourning, and he's not fucking around. He's not wasting time.
No,
he's not here for your BS. Like the Southlanders are looking for Theo. They discover the Ents. Isildur, like, you're supposed to be the leader of men. You're supposed to cut the ring off Sauron's finger. And you're falling into mud pits like this is never-ending story? What are we doing here, brother?
But that was my point previously when he gets jumped by the wild men. He's a baby. He's never experienced this. He's just lived on Numenor. He doesn't know this world. So we're really watching him stumble through these obstacles, including not being able to read this person very well. Like, oh yeah, she's a bad.
But
you know what I mean?
she like that's the thing. One, the mud worm thing, terrifying. I was literally,
what the hell?
I was in shock because I was like taking notes. I was like, oh, Astrid comes back. Like it's a good little tease of like, oh,
yes,
my captors are gone. I'm gonna run away. Nope, she comes back with a stick to help them.
And they held on it for so long, which was so good.
Very,
it was such a good,
very good
it was
patience.
a good cinematic. Yeah, really.
And then turns out that they got sucked down by a carnivorous mudworm and. Terrifying. That's my nightmare. One, getting sucked down into a mud hole and dying by suffocation is one nightmare. Multiply that by 100 that you got sucked down by a carnivorous like mud leech or whatever it is. Terrible. And then Arondir somehow cuts its heart out like in one thing. That's my guy right there. How he's so cool. I don't get how stupid people hate him. He's so cool.
Oh, so that you're totally right that we don't want to give like a lot of credence to like the haters, but like someone was trying to say that there's this bad acting, bad writing. I just can't make that
denial,
claim,
dude. Denial's in Egypt.
Such a dumb joke, and I love it. You can't make that claim. The supper line is so fucking good.
Like
a lot of people has names. This I call supper. Shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
there's a lot of nameless evil in Middle Earth. I shall name this one supper or whatever. It's so I want
good.
that on a t-shirt, dude. Like, that's so good. It is so good. Unabashedly. Like, again, argue with a wall. But then, one, this is another punch that Estrid should be dead. I'm sorry. You get backhanded by a tree? Nah, dude. You're done.
And she gets knocked into a wall. She gets knocked into a rock. It's not like she fell into
a
knoll.
Yeah. It doesn't fall into grass. No, she gets backhanded by an oak and then gets hit by a boulder. It reminds me of in I think it's like Fast and Furious 6, they jumped the shark a long time ago, but it was like Vin Diesel jumps out of one speeding car, catches Michelle Rodriguez, and lands on another speeding car. And the best line in the history of Fast and Furious is like, how did you know the car was going to catch us? That's a car. You're not landing on pillows. That's steel. They act like a car is like this. And if they landed on the pavement, they would have died. But because they landed on the soft metal box with an engine, my favorite line, how'd you know the car was gonna catch our faults? What?
God damn. I love how stupid movie making is. That's just it too. What standard are you holding this show to? Truly, what standard are you holding it to? She should be dead. Poppy and Nori should be dead.
Yeah. At least they gave Poppy, Poppy comes out of a bush or something like that. Or oh, okay, she kind of landed there. But no, you can't throw poor little Estrid against a brick wall.
She's a little thing. She's little. She's dead. But I do love. I'm trying to understand. Were they just less than 30 meters away from them trapped in that tree and just didn't know because they're I'm just trying to understand
how did they get into
the
a tree prison without them knowing? It's like I understand you can have one of the wild men say I don't know, but it looked like a moving tree or something like that. We know it's an ent. The audience knows. You're not you can reveal the character designs. They're both very good, but we know it's an ent. You don't need to no offense, beat around the bush, but I don't know. I thought I like the tree prison design. It looked cool. But you can have the characters acknowledge what it is without it being this big mystery. I still do love the surprise of Esther just getting uppercutted by a tree. It looked great. And I love the Arondir thing. I almost wish we don't need it because we just did our review, but just a quick flashback of him praying to the tree right before he cut it in season 1. Just like a quick flash of when she asked him, like, have you ever put, axe to a tree before? Like,
I disagree. I think it would have been a little... I understand what you're thinking, but I'm just telling you, and you're right, it is because we just watched this. So we know, and we also know the story that it was Ismail's idea to actually pray and say he was sorry to the tree, which is gorgeous. It was fresh for me that he had to do that, and so it worked. And I think if they had cut to it, it would have really deadened the moment for me.
I don't know. Like, I understand what you're saying, but again, I think it's like recency bias for us. I didn't watch the previously on, so I don't know if they showed it in the previously on.
I don't think you need to know, but I'm with you. Listen, I think we just both. My point is, we can have differing opinions here. For me, it wouldn't have worked. For me, the weight of him and how he's carrying it and acting in that moment, which I don't particularly think this guy's the best actor. He's the most gorgeous actor. He's not the, but like he's doing it here.
No, he's doing it. And when you realize he's talking to like a tennis ball off screen and like basically calming down this giant mythical old being and like saying how wrong they've been is beautiful. I thought this was a really beautiful moment, and she gives him one of her flowers, and that was great.
It was gorgeous.
And
it was gorgeous.
It was a really great moment, and I really liked this like quite a bit. And then Isildur leans in to kiss Estrid because she's somehow alive, and boom, she does have a betrothed, y'all. Well, I love that she like goes back and forth of like, oh, I'm not evil. Just kidding, I am evil. Oh, and then she gets uppercutted like, oh no, I'm not evil anymore. Just kidding, I have a husband. It's like, what? There's so many twists and turns. Like,
it's whiplash, man. It's whiplash.
It really is.
I'm with you. Like, I don't know what to do about her. But like at the same time, here's the thing. They can't play, even though we're missing Bronwyn and Arondir's love story, they can't play it beat for beat in the same way. So I like that we're having, but their chemistry is real. The chemistry really does work for me. But there's a little less longing and will they, won't they, or something. So
it's just when will they now.
Slightly missing. Totally. Is Isildur going to kill the betrothed?
He's going to die somehow. Like, he'll die like in the fight with Adar or something. I don't know.
Well, he has to die. But also, she be cheating. I would not trust her.
No. If they'll do it with you, they'll do it to you.
Oh, no. Oh, no, it's true, though.
It's tough.
You're not, it's, first of all, cheating is so not personal, even though it feels very personal, but they will cheat on you if that's how you met them. That's 100% right. That's 10 out of 10. So yeah, now the last of the episode is the Elvengers. I'm trying to think, is there like a Justice League though instead? Is there like a pun there? Like, you know how I'm Justice League? Let's just come up with something better. The Linden League? That's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not bad, but it doesn't have the same, catchiness as Elvengers. The Justice League.
Here's the Just Elves League. It's good stuff. This is good stuff. I can't lie. I like it. I really like it.
Tell me I'm bad. You can't tell me I'm bad.
This was probably the biggest disappointment for me was the Barrow Whites. Like, one, you owe me a quarter. I was right. You were wrong.
I do owe you a quarter.
I will expect that Venmo later today.
Yeah, just like I expect 2 gifted subs from you.
Oh, now she brings it up. Oh, now we want to talk about it. I don't know. It was such good buildup. The circle, the Avenger shot still looked good of everyone twirling their swords and knocking arrows and stuff like that. But the fight itself was like so stilted and slow. Why'd they have to like the big buff elf just got immediately eaten or something? Like,
it's because he's black.
Why does the black guy always die in horror movies?
Every time. I think you have to know you can't do that anymore.
It was pretty crazy.
It was wild. And also, like, yeah, these guys, obviously, I called them elf red shirts once I realized what was happening. Like, that's the joke for, like, early Star Trek is if you're wearing a red shirt, you're done.
I think red shirt's a pretty well-known term, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some people don't know, so I didn't want to, like, hey, here's this colloquial thing. Anyway, they were definitely elf red shirts, but that's such a shame because these guys could have been cool and let's get to know them. And
that's the thing.
You got some diversity here. Jesus.
You specifically say we need, what was it, like 2 swordsmen and a bowman. Like you specifically call out like what this little scout team needs. This like, and that's the thing. They are running, so it's like, oh, these guys feel like they're elite. Like they do feel like the Elfvengers, like the Just Elves League, like the SEAL Elf Team 6, whatever you want to call them. And so when you just have them like kind of like get red-shirted, I was like, wait, this is... And then at the very end, you know, like only the weapons that kill them can do them in. Cool. Like I'm fine with that, but can we have a fight? Because they just like stab 2 of them and then they're just kind of like, ooh. It felt like Universal Horror Nights where like the actors can't touch you, but they can get real close and spook you, but they can't touch you. And that's what this fight felt like to me, where this is like you have the circle shot. You kind of sell this season on this fight, and it's kind of a big nothing burger. I know we're going to get the battle, but that doesn't mean we can't have action beforehand. I'm liking the dialogue. I'm liking the character stuff a lot more than season 1. But again, this goes back to, okay, we don't have like, you know, the dwarf bar fight with Durin and the other miners.
Yeah.
Could have had something there, but this felt like another kind of like truncated showrun thing. Okay, we just got to get past this. I'm like, no, this is like again, you have Tom Bombadil and the Barrow Wights, something that people have been waiting for a long time to see come to life on screen. And you're just kind of yada yada, like this big enemy. Like, how did they kill the first elves? I guess because they couldn't figure out that they needed the old weapons. But I don't know. It was a real big disappointment for me, this fight, because I was looking forward to seeing like the other elves in action. What are they good at? Are they badasses? And then it's just like, nope. They're just kind of going to stand around and be like, oh no, we're doomed. Oh, okay, we got the weapons. Okay, we stabbed 2 of them and now they're gone.
I really did love the moment where Alex made the joke that Elrond passed his insight check, where he's like, no, they have to be killed with their own swords. I loved that. That was really clever. I thought they were going to go hide in one of the tombs. But I think you're dead on accurate with this. Just doesn't live up to you hinging the trailer around this. It wasn't scary. I wasn't worried for them. It was like gruesome to kill the guy like at the rip.
Yeah, that was great.
As we know, there's like, and then like, but where's like, do they take over his body or what? Like, I don't know. It's just, yeah, we didn't deal with it enough or in the right way. And nothing burger's the best way to put it. I will say the fight with Galadriel against the orcs makes up for it in spades.
I don't think it makes up for it. I think it's good on its own right, but why can't?
Sure.
Why not both? Like, why? I know. We've had 3 episodes with no action, 3 episodes that I've enjoyed, to be on the record. I've still enjoyed those episodes, but you can have an action-heavy episode. Like, you can have, give me the cake, and I, like, that's such a weird saying, you want your cake and you eat it too. What else am I supposed to do with cake? Am I not supposed to eat the cake? Like, no. Is it just decorative? What are we talking about here? It's a stupid saying. Throw it away.
Do you want the calories?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I know. Me too.
Yeah.
I had like 7 Chips Ahoy cookies last night.
Proud of you.
And I feel really good about it.
I had steak and potatoes with corn on the cob, and then one of those little Just Desserts cakes at the end of it. Chef's kiss.
Ooh, that's what it's like when you go home.
That's what it's like when you go home. But I don't know. I don't want to harp on the negativity too much, but it I watched this episode
it's
late.
It's worthy criticism.
It is, where it's just like, oh man, because again, I'll harken back to the thing that I'm the only person on the planet likes is Saruman and Elrond fighting the Nazgul as ghosts, and it's a video game cutscene. But you know what? It's good choreography. It's definitely Christopher Lee at 90-something years old doing the fighting, and not him just like sitting on a bench outside the set, like being like, "Go get him." But it's a fun scene for me. And so you have the experience of fighting ghosts and the choreography, whatever you want to do. It's right there. And so it felt like a wasted opportunity.
Because we've also dealt with Nazgul, which are kind of corporealized, kind of not. So where is that threat? And by making it so dark there, we're not seeing enough. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a couple of mistakes by trying to make it spooky, So I'm with you. I think you're totally right in criticizing that.
And then we end the episode with them seeing the army of Adar, a scouting party. This elf is a red shirt to begin with. How much of a red shirt do you need to be that they're not even aiming at you and you get hit by an arrow?
Notoriously, orcs are bad at hitting their mark. They're not even trying, bro. They can't hit a fucking horse. This is me.
If I say that I want to be an elf, I'm this elf, because I would just be not even purposely shot by a poison orc arrow.
Incredible.
It's good stuff.
It's actually It's upsetting that guy fucking failed. He failed. He rolled a nat one.
I thought I saw it where I was like, did someone get shot? And then they cut to the orcs the horse got away, and then you just cut back, and he's not even in the center of the frame. He's off to the side. He's it's like a Coen Brothers movie moment. He's like, oh, I got shot.
Unbelievable. It's so dumb. And I do love, though, that, again, remember, in this version of the world, Mithril heals elves. I would not say that Galadriel is a healer. I can understand people taking umbrage with this. She's not a healer, the Mithril is. So she saves this guy.
She does save him.
I can understand if you're annoyed that Mithril is not how Mithril works, but she's a healer. She heals him, essentially. Which is interesting.
And then she's like, I need to distract the army to you guys get out of here. I feel like, again, have horses. Or also, you can just run. I don't know why they all just can't, the orcs don't know exactly where they are. They hear the one guy kind of groan, and they might smell them, but they don't know where they are. And Galadriel's trying to be that, get out of here. I'll go. It's you guys can all run. It's okay.
Especially because she just healed the guy.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if they were running at a deficit, right? Or they were trying to cobble together, come on, buddy, let's go. And she needed to actually buy time. But right now, they can fucking hide. And if this was Minecraft, I'd dig a hole and put the dirt above me and wait till they despawned.
Yeah. Someone said that Minecraft is going to flop at the box office, and I like that a lot, by the way.
It's going to flop at the box office.
That was good.
It's so good.
But you're right, this fight scene is great. One, this goes back to just the power scaling of who Galadriel is. I don't think she'd have a problem 1v30ing these orcs, and it seems like she does. And also, how powerful is Adar, where he just grabs the arrow and just kind of...
Well, he's a corrupted elf.
Yeah, but there's we've established that there is levels to elves here, and so she's seen the light of the trees. Glove. I'm just saying Galadriel should be able to easily defeat Adar in a fight.
I think she could 1v1 him, but she's already... Here's the thing. The way I was perceiving the fight was that she was doing really well against 30 of them. And in those 30 orcs or whatever, she's going to have a couple of missteps. And I thought that that's what was happening. That she had a couple of oh shit, I didn't see this one thing come to claw me or whatever.
Yeah.
That was my perception. I didn't have an issue with how that played out.
I don't know. I think it's also unfortunate that we've seen Legolas in 6 movies. Just that's his baseline is 1v30. So
This is true. He, what was it, decapitated 500 orcs, something like that, like that were
10
waiting
seconds,
in
like...
line for the Matterhorn. He just, like, get the fast pass, everybody. Single rider's the only way.
Right, he's literally like the fast pass guy walking by all the standby people, just cutting their heads off, basically.
Fucking just raking in kills.
But yeah, like I think it's a solid ending to the episode. I think it's just like my own issue of just like, I don't think Galadriel would have a problem with this fight. And I'm really, it does make me curious of like how truly powerful Adar is, because maybe he's been hiding a lot of his power or something like that, where maybe not everybody could stab Sauron to begin with. You know, they all stabbed him while he was weakened, but maybe they couldn't like make that first cut or something like that. So he is like more powerful. And then I liked the end of the episode, and then the song just like literally like matrix me out of like, I got the thing pulled out of my head and I was like, oh, I'm back in the real world. What just happened?
Yeah, totally. It was a real big misstep, and they could have just like let us go, oh shit, a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Rufus Wainwright's voice is very distinctive. It's totally fair to say low rent Ed Sheeran. We have Ed Sheeran at home. That's like, it's funny that you say that. I love him, and I love
the rendition of like Shrek is a great movie. It was like one of those things of like, why am I crying in the middle of Shrek right now with this hallelujah? Good God.
I can't wait for Shrek 5. I really can't.
Have you seen the new Puss in Boots yet? I've told you to watch it like 4 times.
No. Last night I asked Alex if we could watch the first one, and he did not feel like he was in the mood, because I want to watch the first one before I watch the last one.
You don't need to, but I respect it.
I want to. I'm a purist. I want to have all the information going into it, because I'm going to want to watch it anyway. So I want to feel, I was crying during Deadpool, and I was crying. What else I cried during Free Guy recently. So you can get me. It can work. This didn't work. And I'm sorry, Rufus. I love you. I really do.
It's tough because like, I don't want to be too hard on it, but it was just like, because even in, you know, the Hobbit, you know, the Ed Sheeran song, there is like 5 seconds of silence of like a hard like drum beat to black. What have we done?
Yes.
Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ed Sheeran, and you're like, oh, okay. And it's like this a cappella note. So I don't know, going like right into like, I don't know. It just
full
felt strange.
Orchestration, full singing. They could have given us a phrase of the folk song before Rufus started to sing. Get us in there.
Yeah.
Feel like all is lost. Because let's not forget, folks, this is the 4th episode. We're on the other half now of the remaining of the series. So this is supposed to be pretty heavy, what just happened. And they really biffed it on that.
They did. They unfortunately did. But overall,
they really did biff it.
I did enjoy this episode.
A lot.
I did. I think they're still cooking. You know, I'm glad we're going to 1 a week now. I'm glad we don't have 3 to cover. But I really enjoyed this episode. I wish the Barrow White fight would have been better, because it was something I was really looking forward to, because I like seeing like people like in their bag. I like, you know, oh, this guy's good with an arrow, this guy's good with a sword, this guy's got daggers, like, and we didn't get to see like any of that, and I'm just like a sucker for that kind of stuff. But overall, a solid episode. What were your thoughts?
I agree. I think it's just still good, and I know there's still so much more story to be told. I think them figuring out how the stranger works into the story is working for me. Mm-hmm. Even Alex was like, what the hell is going on with Numenor? And I reminded him that I just don't think, and you said this, I just don't think this season is really that much about Numenor.
It really seems like next episode, I got I won't spoil it too much, because I'm not a big fan of watching that. So sorry. Of watching the coming up next, but next episode seems to be full Numenor and a lot of Khazad-dûm, because we didn't get either of those storylines. And
we didn't get any Sauron, any Celebrimbor.
Yeah.
You know, but I wasn't missing it.
No,
you know?
it didn't feel like Game of Thrones. I think perfected and kind of spoiled us with like how easily they jumped around to Winterfell, King's Landing, Dragonstone, Essos, like jump, really great stuff. But sometimes it's okay to just focus on 2 out of the 5 storylines, and I'm fine with that. I think we did a good job where it didn't feel like, why are we still with the stranger? Okay, we're going back to Nori. Now we're going back to, like, I never felt like that. I felt like, oh, I want to get back to these things. I'm enjoying both of these stories.
Totally. Like, he's in the tree. They're giving us just enough of these little tastes of cliffhangers. So we'll be like, well, I got to find out what happens. He's in the tree. Like, if you guys are on our Patreon, then you know that Ben and I do we did House of the Dragon podcast. Now we're doing a Game of Thrones podcast. And our biggest complaint for House of the Dragon season 2 is that there just should have been one episode of Daemon at Harrenhal and not know where he was for 3 episodes prior to that.
Yep.
Because instead they're just insulting us as viewers by going, oh, look, here's another ghost issue and a witch. So they're at least like pacing it out really well right now. And so I'm like all in. I can't wait for next episode, even though we're not going to get some resolution on like maybe what happened with Galadriel this episode and all those things.
The thing is that
they've got me.
They do have me, and that's the thing is that I do want to go back to Numenor because I feel like we're getting like a little short shrifted over there. It feels like some behind the scenes, like cut for time. Like I feel like my biggest complaint is that this season should have probably been 10 episodes. Like it feels.
I agree.
It feels like they could have used a little more time. And I think 2 more hours is just enough time. Like, I don't need,
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
We're not seeing the full season yet, but we both have that same feeling. It's like, guys, but at the same time, their biggest complaint from everyone last year, the first season, was that it's too slow. So, maybe they're just making it cook right now. Maybe we can't be pleased. I will say, though, in our Discord, we have conversations about this, and I think it was Brad Grens who said, just Numenor feels so small. The sets feel so small.
Yep.
Again, I'm kind of just on the tip that it's like, it's not, this season really isn't about them, but we're just getting enough to get us to the 3rd season. But we have so much more going on right now that makes it just fascinating. And I can't wait to get to Celebrimbor. I thought that fucking fight scene with Galadriel was so awesome, how she was lighting the fire on the torch. And there was just like, they're just doing some really cool stuff visually with these fight sequences. I'm with you on the Barrow-wights stuff. Arondir, MVP of the whole episode, I think. I really think
Great stuff from him.
And I'm not cringing too much with Tom Bombadil as much as I thought I was going to. So I'm pleased about that.
I think they did as good as someone could do with Tom Bombadil, other than him having his own story, him being like a guest starring role. I think it's as good as you can do, and I'm looking forward to seeing him interact with the stranger. I think those are 2 good actors. It's going to have some good conversations and like, a good training arc, if you will. What did you think, real quick before we go, Elrond, like we hinted at earlier, Elrond's last line of like, she's not doing it to save us, she's doing it to save the ring.
It was so fucking catty. It was so catty. And it's bad leadership.
Yeah.
I fall victim to my impulses a lot. I've worked on this a lot in therapy, and that means I have to sometimes stop myself before I send the email where I'm being a little bitch, or say something where I'm being a little short with somebody or something. And the only thing I can like forgive Elrond is, and we also did get a really, really thoughtful comment about how they are about 5,000 years old. Galadriel's like older than Gil-galad. Like they saw the light of the tree. So it's not like they're babies. I totally understand where you guys are coming from. But they're still in the large breadth of these beings that could live for 10,000 years, Círdan, etc., yada, yada. Their adolescence is kind of where we're coming from. Is at least that's that's what we're saying.
I think it's what the show is saying.
That's what the show is saying.
Yeah.
So we're just buying into that. Because otherwise then they're just dumb. But I think we're learning, we're watching these characters, Isildur in as well, learn how to be the heroes that we will eventually see. And right now he's not doing a very good job of it, and he's being a little bitch about it. And so I don't love that, but I think it's an interesting character choice. So I'm choosing to look at it that way. What about you? What do you think?
There's stuff that I like. There's stuff that I like less. It
But,
felt like an
did you like him
unnecessary
saying that?
shot. It felt like an unnecessary...
Yeah.
To where, like, before, my computer's at 17%, so we've got to get going.
Oh, we actually do got to go. Okay.
But just, like, they came to an understanding of, like, will you defeat Sauron no matter what happens to me? And it felt like, okay, no matter what, these guys are friends. They do love each other. There was, like, this understanding moment on the bridge. And it felt like this unnecessary, like, stab, like, in the ribs, like, as she's going to fight to, like, let you guys get out of here. Like, nah, this is all fake. This is YouTube, like a charity or something like that, where it's like,
yeah, that's a really good point. Like, and I felt like she said that on to him, like going, hey, you might think I'm totally under the influence of this. My goal is still to get rid of this guy. And maybe I will fall victim to his influence again. She's kind of saying, if that happens, kill me.
Exactly.
You know? So, but at the same time, he does not trust her right now. I can kind of understand. His arc this season or in the next few episodes is learning how to trust her again. So we want to hear from you guys. What did you think about this episode? Overall, we're like positive about it. Were you as shocked by the Rufus Wainwright song as we were? My guess is yes. And if you did see our most recent upload where we were reading all the negative comments we've received, that is just a drop in the bucket compared to the lovely comments we've gotten about our positivity. Though I do remind you guys that it does mean that it's harder for the algorithm to pump us out there because we're not hate mongering. So if you really do like our positivity, continue to comment, but also just like click the share button and copy the link. That actually goes a huge way to showing people like this is like the algorithm that actually I really like this. You want to go so far as to put us on Twitter or on your Facebook feed. If you still use that, that's great. But just if you're here watching the video, click that share link, click copy, and it tells the algorithm that you like us, as well as clicking like, subscribe, and notify the bell if you want to. Because also Ben and I are doing trailer reviews now when we have the time.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff, fun stuff going on here.
We're trying to get more content out. Jessica is working overtime doing all this because I'm just the ugly face you see on screen. She does all the editing and thumbnails and all the hard work. But make sure you guys, if you guys do want to join us on Patreon, we are doing our Game of Thrones podcast, which we are continuing. This week we're going on episode 2. We've got all the House of the Dragon episodes there for you as well. So we've got good stuff on Patreon at the $5 tier, patreon.com/podcast of the rings. And if not, again, like you said, share, liking, commenting, all free. If you guys are listening to us on whatever podcast platform you prefer, 5 stars, a review if you're really feeling generous, it would go a long way. Again, we know the algorithm doesn't like positivity, but you know what? We're here for it. If I'm gonna hate something, I'm gonna hate it, and it's gonna be at least like legitimate criticisms, not because there's people of color in the episode.
We literally don't like Night Bitch or Minecraft, and we talked about that in our trailers that we did. So we actually do have viable opinions on both sides of the spectrum.
Yes.
But anyway, yes, you can join our Discord for free. You can email us at podcastoftheRings@gmail.com. We really do love hearing from you, and we do our best to acknowledge the good and the bad and the in-betweenies, because we can't all have great takes. Anyway, until next time, Ben.
May our paths meet again.
Let's go.